right, let's just jump in. Today we're going to talk about strategies for sustainable success, really through the lens of parenting. Do you think your baby's ugly? The image that you see there is really of Seinfeld. It's a funny episode about ugly babies. Sometimes there might be those people out there that, can never think that a baby's ugly, and there's other people out there that, might not think that way. Regardless of where you stand, when you look at your business, would you ever say your baby's ugly? If your business is your baby, you'd probably say no. However, there's a lot of us that are so close to our business that becomes very, very difficult. And you're probably wondering, what are you even talking about? Let's jump in. So where should you invest your money? Okay, this should be a very, very easy question to answer. Should you spend marketing dollars on new prospects or existing clients? Where would you put the lion's share of your money? Into the business you don't have or to the business that you do? So I can tell you, for me, early on in my career, all I really cared about was this section right here, new prospects. I would spend every last dime that I had on new prospects because it's business I didn't have. If I wanted to grow my firm, I needed to find, the new blood, another at bat, another opportunity to grow my business. And the existing clients are almost an afterthought, other than, could we use them to get referrals? So how can I get referrals out of them and attract new business at the same time? But I would spend all of my money there. Now, it makes logical sense. I would imagine most of you are shaking your head, but you're kind of reluctant to go, I guess I would spend all my money there and probably no money there, because that's how we all think as financial advisors, because most of us want new prospects. And in order to get new prospects, we're going to have to spend money on marketing, whether it be online leads, seminars, online webinars, however, online ads, social media. I mean, at the end of the day, the vast majority of people, financial advisors, are going to spend marketing dollars on attracting new business, specifically through whatever amazing marketing program is the latest and greatest shiny thing out there to help you grow your business. And I have been there too. I have been at the head of the pack. I mean, back in the day, we had huge marketing budgets of $100,000, $150,000 a month that we're spending to grow our business, specifically on new prospects. Didn't care about anybody else. All we cared about was the people that we didn't know. And then you contrast that with existing clients. It is very difficult to find a financial firm in the marketplace today that's successful that spends money on existing clients. And you're wondering, why am I even doing a live session about spending money on existing clients? Or am I? Am I talking about spending money on new prospects, ones that you don't have? Well, we're going to get into that in a second. But I can tell you, for the lion's share of my career, I never talked to a program or found a program that I could purchase or talk to an advisor that was really pushing to spend all your marketing money on existing clients. Forget about the people you don't know. Just support the clients that you do know. Most of that has been on this. Let me share with you a program on how you're going to be able to 10x your prospects, how you can sit in front of more advisors, more at-bats, more opportunities, not advisors, more prospects than you've ever been before. And let me show you how to close more of that business. That's what they all sound like. Let me help you find the people that you've been dying to sit in front of, or find the organizations or service providers that are sit in front of your ideal program or prospect. Let me show you how to funnel them into your office. And oh, by the way, it's $6,000, $10,000, $15,000, whatever the price tag is. Let me teach you how to do that. And it's all about the new the new prospects. On the flip side, you've got no chatter about, let me show you how to invest marketing dollars into your existing business and show you how to grow that way, which seems very interesting to me. And if it wasn't for the experience that I had in C12, I would probably be on the new prospect train. And let me let the cat out of the bag. I am not on that train at all. I am very much in, the freight train of spend every last dime that you have on your existing business. And it really came from C12. C12 is a Christian business owners group. I've been a part of it for 11 years. I would attribute a lot of success and growth that I've had in my firm because of sitting in my forum with my 12 guys and the relationships I've had. And I've cried in that room. I've rejoiced in that room. I've battled in that room. And I can tell you, I brought so many issues, struggles, and opportunities to that table. And we've beat me up a ton, and we've solved problems, and we've helped this business grow. But I tell you, early on, I was that let's spend all our money on marketing to the new prospects that are out there. And every single year we do what's called a core presentation, where you share about your business. They'll come in, all the other guys, the 11 guys will come into your business without you there, probably 2 weeks before your core, and they'll interview your staff. And it's all anonymous. They'll share, you're not around. They'll interview every single one of your staff. And then 2 weeks later, you give your presentation. And then they'll make sure that what they're hearing from your staff members and what you're saying is about the same thing. Very stressful, very tough seat to be in once a year. And then when we go through my finances and they'd see all the money I'm spending on marketing, and they look at my growth of my firm, and they're like, hey, these numbers really aren't jiving. You're spending so much more money every single year, and your growth of your firm really isn't, complementing that. You are growing. I was growing probably somewhere in, I don't know, 20 to 40% a year. But I was spending, every last dime I had on marketing to get that 20 to 40% growth. And I did a lot of referral programs. And so some of my growth wasn't just marketing dollars, but the vast majority, that's all I spent on of my marketing budget. And then, we're looking at all the other firms that are represented around this table, and hardly any of them were spending money on marketing. I was really the only one. And they're like, you're spending all this money to get the same type of growth that everybody else is. When they're not spending any money, they're just getting referrals and business from everybody else. And it took me a long time to dive in to what they're talking about. It took me 3 years to go from spending a ton of money to spending almost no money. And I can tell you through a series of events that I'm not going to get into today, maybe in a later session, that I went from spending, a huge marketing budget down to we spend no money marketing right now. And I went from 20 to 40, we'll call it 30% average growth in the first 4 years of starting my business here in Charlotte, to where we were growing over 100% a year without spending any money on marketing. All we were doing was pouring in to our existing clients and creating unbelievable pillars of success. And some of the later sessions I'm going to share with you through these lives is really going to be the 3 pillars, which is planning, execution, which is your strategy, your investment strategy, and then your client service. So those 3 things, and they're not independent, they're all together. You've got one that meets the other, which meets the other. You can't be good at 2 and be okay with 1. You've got to be excellent at all 3. When you're good at planning, good at strategy and execution, and excellent on customer service, those are the 3 pillars for a whole lot of growth. And when you pour into your customer base, oh man, it's crazy. So let's talk about the ugly baby thing. So let's talk about the new baby mindset. All right. So these are my 3 boys when they were babies. They are not babies now. They all kind of look very similar. My oldest is Evan. He's a freshman in college, which is crazy to think this is how he started, and he's as big as I am now. My middle son, Shane, who's in high school, and then my middle schooler, Reed, who's in 7th grade. They all started like this. And, when we're in that prospecting mindset, we're thinking about, getting these new opportunities into our firm, but we're thinking about, let's just get them in. We're not thinking about helping nurture them and grow them into adults. We're thinking, let's sign them. And that's kind of where it stops. It's, hey, let's get this opportunity. Once they're in the firm, we're good. There's no ongoing anything, nurturing programs to grow them into adults that can ultimately turn into raving fans. It's almost like an afterthought. Let's get them into the business, and then we'll ask for referrals. That's not necessarily the mindset I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is this parenting mindset. That you can take this newborn, this this brand new prospect, turn them into an adolescent, then ultimately turn them into an adult that can go and be a raving fan for your firm. And I wouldn't be telling you this for any other reason. That's exactly what we do now. I mean, there's no online lead purchases, there's no funnels that I have on Facebook, anything to help me grow my client base of investors. This is all the growth that we get, and we're averaging close to 100% growth a year on our firm. We're slowing down now. We're getting so big that it becomes very difficult to double every year. But we had 5 straight years where we doubled the size of our firm. And I can tell you it's because of this parenting mindset. It's let's take this baby, turn it into a toddler, help it grow into a young child, and help that child grow into a teen and ultimately an adult. And as you progress their knowledge base and their learning and understanding of what you're doing, and you're growing them up and what you do and how you do it, they become this amazing, knowledgeable adult that has been completely framed and built out into the process of what you do, how you think, your passions, your everything that just embodies who you are as a firm is then poured into your client base through all these different phases. And then what happens is they become this unbelievable, knowledgeable adult. And then everybody that's around them, they're like, no, no, no. If you're going to invest with somebody, you have to go over to this firm. They're the most amazing people out here. Let me tell you everything I know. And then boom, you don't even ask. Like I can tell, we get referrals every single week. And I can't even tell you the last time I asked for a referral. I mean, it was years and years ago. I mean, our firm grows because we're so good at parenting our client base. We pour in relentlessly to our client base through this understanding of taking a baby. Let's get the baby into the firm and turn them into an adult of knowledge, of how we can empower them that they don't even need us. Like our average client, we have told time and time again, we want you to get to a point, we want you to understand our process so much that if God takes me out of the picture, if I'm no longer around, you can be fully sustainable knowing what we know and never have to worry about hiring another financial advisor. Seems scary, right? I would have thought that too when I first did it. Now, I mean, it's just part of the message that we share. All right, let me talk to you about a giveaway. I want you to put the word generational in the comments, which I'm going to share with you here in a second. I want you to type the word generational in the comments. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give you this Nurture to Thrive document. It doesn't look like this is the simple version. There's going to be a much prettier version that you're going to get. But in this guide, I'm going to talk to you about how to assess your current care plan for your practice. We're going to go into all kinds of understanding, assessing your current client base and practice through like the baby phase, the toddler phase. I know this is a parent, it's not a parenting seminar. It's really about your practice, but at the end of the day, we're associating it to parenting. Then you're going to get into shifting your mindset from going after the prospects to digging into your current client base. Then we're going to talk about building a growth plan, a growth care plan for existing client base, which is probably the most important. How do you empower your client base to know more of what you do? We've got most of ours mapped out very, very well. It works incredibly well for us. I mean, I'll be happy to share everything I know. And then the last thing is an action step to get started. So there's 3 stages in the very beginning. And then the last thing is basically an action plan of taking what you've assessed and what you know and what you've created and turning into something that you can change and transform your practice. So if you want that guide, all you have to do is type in the word generational into the comments below, which I'm going to put right here. By the way, these babies you see right here are right here. There's my freshman. This was graduation this last year. That's my sophomore in high school and my 7th grader. It's crazy to think that these little munchkins right here can turn into these grown men right there. Super proud daddy over here. And if you were to ask me, do you think your baby's ugly? I would say, heck no. There's been ugly phases in attitude, ugly phases in awkwardness of how they look, but they have turned into and turning into great young men. And it's because of a whole lot of issues and errors and bad parenting but there's been a few bright spots along the way, and by God's grace, some great things have taken place. But let's apply that same logic of pouring in to your little ones and growing up into amazing adults to your practice. How can you pour into your practice, pour into your clients, pour into your beloved book of business, and turn them into people empowered to do things on their own, but want to work with you for the rest of their life, and tell everybody around them that you're the firm to work with? That's exactly what we've done over the years. And this is a great way to get started. So don't think your baby's ugly. I don't think you do. But let's figure out how to nurture and thrive in this space. All right. So type in generational and you'll be on your way. All right, we're done.